It's Friday, and you know what that means. An hour of wrestling television on TNT, and Chris Jericho on commentary. Well, they can't all be winners. I'm John Retton with my review of AEW Rampage. Beach break, Championship Friday, despite the fact that only 2 matches on this 4-match card were for a championship. But whatever, I guess 2 out of 4 ain't bad. That's how the Meatloaf song went, right? Yeah, oh yeah, rest in peace, Meatloaf. You know, his name was Robert Paulson. His name was Robert Paulson. His name was Robert Paulson. I need to retro review Fight Club eventually. If you can't tell, I didn't really care for this show. It wasn't necessarily bad, and at least at an hour-long, runtime, it doesn't exactly overstay its welcome, but they've just thrown in the towel with this show. When it's live, it's not that bad. When it's real, when it's Memorex, sometimes they will put the effort in, and you'll actually get at least a decent match on the show, or otherwise, you'll just get a show like this. Like, they really should have added a 5th match to this show, so they didn't have to have a couple matches go as long as they did. But anyway, Excalibur, Taz, and Ricky Starks on commentary, while Chris Jericho just shouts, lets it all out. I wonder what the January 6th committee is going to do about his wife and mother-in-law on January 6th in 2021. Come on. But that's okay, because Chris Jericho's too busy drinking to the point that he looks like a couch left out in a rainstorm for a goddamn week. Seriously, I understand wanting to just, do your own thing and live life like a rock star if you really want to. Do whatever the fuck you want. But if you're going to be a purported athlete, at least fucking look like you actually give a shit. Chris Jericho just does not give a shit anymore. He's a major, major detriment to this goddamn wrestling program. And I'm not just talking Rampage. I'm talking AEW in general. He does not need to be involved in wrestling anymore. So, Moxley's entrance, Wild Thing, you make his heart sing. And he's there, and I love that song. I love that rendition. The Trogs version isn't bad, but now can't help but hear X and be like, man, this is the best version of Wild Thing. I've heard other versions. They weren't very good. So the Acclaimed, Caster does a rap and says, the network exec called and said, watch your mouth, which, after he said, hey, hey, go fuck yourself. Get out of here, you piece of shit. It was actually pretty funny. So, Moxley took on Bowens, and it's a jump start. Moxley is upset. He's beating up Anthony Bowens and everything. Anthony Bowens eventually posts him, and Mox can actually wrestle, and this wasn't bad. I think it went a few minutes longer than it needed to. Bowens really did shine when he was, a single star for a little bit, while Caster was, in therapy or everything, or what the fuck was it? Was it some kind of counseling, or was he just suspended for 60 days because of that not very smart and not very well-researched rap that he did? There have been way worse things, but oh boy. And he doubled down on. Now that being said, if he learned his lesson, it was what it was. There are certainly wrestlers that have actually done way worse shit that are still allowed to be in wrestling, so we gotta be fair. But anyway, there was a big superplex by Bowens. Mox does dive. He hits Caster. Bowens does hit a nice flip DDT off the ropes. That was pretty well done. But this kept going. At that point, I was like, after Claim to Fame, I'm like, okay, guys, got to wrap it up. There was a distraction with the chain, but oh no, the boombox here in my heart, and beat goes on and on and on and on. Oh man, I screwed up that boom clap reference. But the chain got put in because this got, really, really sloppy. We get a cutter from Mox, and then we get a pair of dimes shift. I think that's how that goes. 1, 2, 3. Mox wins while Brian was watching TV like a normal human. Yes, I am real human. You want to go skateboard? And there's a sign that said, Bully Ray sucks in the crowd. That's good. The Bully Ray does. And I actually did listen to Bully Ray's comments and, actually saw what he said as far as what he said about Mox and everything. Hate to say it, Bully, but, after the fact that you have always thought that you were a way bigger star than you ever were, and the fact that, well, you're a terrible booker and you're really not that smart, maybe you should have just kept your goddamn mouth shut. Also, he really is a fucking bully, so at this point, I really don't think we should put much stock in what he says. That's really all I'm going to say about the matter. Nyla and Ruby, the pre-tape. Nyla says she's not done with Ruby. I'm not finished with you, she says. She's pulling a Braun Strowman. Hopefully not, because Nyla seems to be a lot smarter to things than Braun Strowman is. Or the Titan, the Titan. Titan, boy, that was a weird goddamn movie. Check that out if you haven't already. Boy, Neon Studio certainly knocked it out of the park, wherever the fuck it was. But anyway, Andrade, El Oli Olio, has commandeered the camera with G.I. Jose, and they go talk to Sting. And Darby's sitting in a chair. Look, I know that, I'm just going to say it, I don't care how this comes across. I know that English is very hard for some people, especially when it's not your first language. And I get it. That's why you have a manager, and Andrade actually seemed to be doing better in WWE, and he seemed to be doing better in interviews, so why can't I understand him in English, Spanish, or whatever fucking other language he says? Is it because the mic sucked? Is it because Andrade doesn't give a shit? Because I have not understood a fucking thing that he has said. And whenever it seems like I kind of understand it, it's just confusing because Andrade's felt more marginalized than Christian Cage. And Christian Cage has been a manager for about 2 years of his 1 year run in AEW. No, don't ask me how that math works. Andrade just... He wants to hire Darby. He wants to talk to his boss, Sting. It's stupid. This is stupid television. Andrade shouldn't even be on AEW television. Even though he can wrestle, he's not very good on promos, and he's not very interesting. Have Jose speak for him. Have somebody speak for him. Or maybe just do a few lines and let him tell his stories in the ring, like he used to do, because he's actually really good at that. But Darby pulls out a bat and chases them off and everything, and if only he would just, maybe hit the person in the head that came up with this whole goddamn thing. FTR with Tully took on Brock Lee, yes, Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson, with Arn Anderson and already in the ring. So we needed to do all this stuff to have these guys not hear FTR's theme and whatever. And look, the commentary asses off. At least FTR's on TV. This did not need to go as long as it did. It didn't. And Lee has improved, and Brock, look, he is an Anderson, and he obviously that's how genetics work, and he has something, but he should not be on TV at this point. He did hit a few nice moves, but again, he should not be on cable television yet. Give him more time. Give him more seasoning. More time, oregano and pepper and everything. Pepperino. Or the pecorino. Give him more pecker. Wait, no. I saw that going differently in my head. Arn and Tully do their thing where, Arn slaps Tully. I challenge you to a duel. They also gave Brock quite a bit. And there was a nice splash from Lee Johnson at one point. Then the Arn slap, not the Glock. And a pile driver for 3. So FTR gets a victory in twice as long as they should have needed to beat them. Rosa and Martinez do a pre-tape. Thunder Rosa and Mercedes Martinez, that is, in case you're confused at all. Match next week. And Dee was running up, apparently, the Exorcist stairs. Kind of fitting, considering that her husband is literally kind of devilish with the fact that he decided to sleep with a drunk 16-year-old girl in the UK. Missed me with the goddamn legal age limit shit. You don't take advantage of somebody like that regardless, and you definitely don't take advantage of somebody that's underage. It was apparently a wrestling student. But that's okay, because Marty Scurll will probably pretty soon be in AEW, and guess what's going to happen? Hopefully, many people boo. But that's okay, because it's all elite. Abuser elite wrestling. Except that's unfair, because there's a lot of really good people in AEW. But if I'm going to knock WWE, and I'm going to knock New Japan, I'm going to knock AEW. And if people don't like that, that's too bad. Also, Deeb is a tremendous athlete. I just wish she wasn't married to a goddamn piece of shit. So, and it is actually kind of funny, though, that Deeb was doing this stuff, and she was running and training and everything, get ready to do cardio, to go out and look for another person near a school, since Marty, of course, is not legally allowed to be within 1,000 yards of a school, and I look forward to any hate that people want to bring, because I don't really care. I'm just a fan sharing my opinions. I am no bigger than any other fan that decides to do a goddamn YouTube channel. I just don't give a shit anymore. 41 years old, I don't care. We need to get people out that are like this, and if there are people that want to, shield them or whatever, get them out too. So anyway, Jade Cargill versus Juliet Hart, TBS title match. So Julia had the eye patch on and got beat with Jaded, and that's really all I have to say about this. This was about 2.5 minutes, barely, and they counted along with the push-ups and everything and stuff like that, and Jade is not ready for national television. Now, I'm not even saying Julia is. Anyway, so no one wants to see Cage and Matt go at it again. Nobody wanted to see it 10 years ago. Nobody wants to see it now. Dynamite, Punk versus MJF, Ruby versus Nyla, House of Black, Crown Royale Black, whatever. Taking on Pentaca, that's what I'll call him, Penta and Pac. And in Rampage next week, Rosa versus Martinez, Starks versus Lethal for the FTW Championship, which has no right to exist. So, Private Party with Matt Hardy taking on Jurassic Express with Christian Cage for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Hey, the Gun Club's there. They distract, and Jungle Boy gets pounded. His ass gets pounded. His front gets pounded all over, and he nearly gets beat, getting pounded in the ass by Gin and Juice. I'm just going to say that because that's become a running gag. Yes, ass pounding has become a running gag, if you'll see what I did there. And if you gag doing that, you're, one, you're too big, and two, you're probably doing it wrong. Be careful. Arc up properly. Anyway, they just double team him for a bit, and then Luchasaurus gets a tag, makes a brief comeback, then they beat him up for a while. Then Jungle Boy gets tagged and does a bunch of dives. And then eventually we just cut to Andrade up in the goddamn skybox because it's the Andrade Hardy family orifice. This is why Andrade should never come to AEW, because it's like, look, he's with Matt Hardy, and this Matt Hardy group's fucking shit. It's stupid. It's not even anything against the talents personally. It's just dumb. And snare trap, and we get a shooting star press sort of onto Jungle Boy, though Mark Quinn had to pull up. Jungle Boy pins one of them. I actually didn't pay attention to who, because at this point I stopped caring. The Gun Club attacks and Ass Boy chants, and that's really it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rethlin. I'll see you soon.